even with my writing or the production, I try to leave things as ambiguous because I don't want people to feel like they're reading like my journal. I want you to feel like you're reading our own. We try and try again, but baby, I choose me this time.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Joey J. Ping here, checking in live, respectmyregion.com. We're here on another episode of the RMR TV interview series. Today, we've got a very special guest, Hymn Marley, in the building. The legendary family, son of Stephen,
Yes.
grandson of Bob.
Yes.
Carving your own lane, doing
Yes.
music. Today we're gonna break things down, talk about where his career's at, some of the latest releases, what we're smoking on today. And before we get there, we've got to show some love to the sponsors. Is that okay, him?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Today we're smoking on Maven Genetics. This is some really great indoor grown weed here in Los Angeles. Big shout out to their French Lotus strain, formerly known as the French Lotus strain. And then we also have the Old Money number 6. That's what we're smoking over here right now. But they have a great selection of products. Our second sponsor today is Black Market. They've got a great hemp THC beverage over here. Great for mixers, cocktails, mocktails, you name it. You guys can get these kind of products all across the South, Texas, Florida, you name it. If hemp THC is sold there, drinkblackmarket.com is where you should get it. Now, him. Connecting with you is pretty wild because I was telling you offline. It took a viral video and the decision to move here to be and then to be here 7 years for our paths to cross doing music. That gets me thinking about your path. What and how did you get into music beyond just and this is what our family does. Like how and when did you start taking music at that serious business? This is not a hobby level.
Business, not a hobby level after high school. Yeah. I graduated and I was like, all right, I have. Well, before that, like in high school, I was kind of dabbling between acting and doing music, but I never stopped writing poetry and like writing.
Yeah.
So then that kind of ventured into working with some of the producers at the studio, and we ended up on one track is out. That one is called "Bad Without You." That was my first single release because we was just in the studio and I was like, "Yo, this song kind of sounds good, so let's like put it out." So after I put it out, now I was like, you know what, like this is telling my story, telling a story, telling being a part, bringing those two worlds together rather than
Keeping them separate.
you know what I mean between
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I wasn't sure if I wanted to act first or dive into music, but writing never stopped. So that kind of ended up leading me to say, okay, this is where I'm at.
Writing. It's similar for me. Didn't go to school for blogging, didn't go to school for journalism or doing any of this stuff. But bringing my different creative skill sets together is how we've gotten here today as well.
Right.
For you, one of the songs that I was listening to earlier, and I was kind of vibing out to it, man. That not today. That's a track. It's a little bit. I get this house electronic vibe. I get R&B. I get a little bit of love and energy into it, and I get a little bit of fun. And so I really enjoyed the pace of that song and the overall sonic audio experience. For you, can you talk a little bit about the headspace of that release? What went into making this track? What was the thinking behind that?
So during COVID, when COVID just started, we kind of got together and worked on what would be the blueprint of it. We kind of had some of the words and the melodies and whatever, and then I shelved it. Then a few years later, when I was at a really low point in life, I felt like I was kicked when I was down. That turned into me using "not today" as a mantra. All right, and not to give in to the chaos. I kind of came to a point where I'm like,
They always say, "Not today, Satan." Right?
You know
That's
what I
like a
mean?
little
You know what I
phrase.
mean?
Not keep your energy over there. Not today.
Right. So initially, when we did the track, that wasn't even the thinking. But then,
Yeah.
as life progressed, it became something that I ended up needing to get through some of the things that were happening at that time, and being able to, kind of disconnect with some shit that just wasn't feeding my soul, wasn't feeding me. Not today, not tomorrow was kind of the mantra, and then that turned out to fit where I'm at, where I'm headed. Just the stepping stones of my evolution as a human and as an artist.
when I hear you describe the mindset of that and this mantra of what goes into that song, Not Today, one thing that I think is consistent with a lot of the tracks from your guys' family as a whole is longevity of the track, the life of the music. It's not just for a here and now. Like, it's not just for those moments that you were feeling. Not Today is all the time. If there's stuff going on in your life all the time,
Yeah, of
and for a
course,
lot of
of
people
course, of
that
course, of
is
course, of
right. And
course,
even
of
now, there's
course.
even more shit going on in the world now than historically ever, right?
And I mean, also, we never stop. You know, it's like as once you're alive, you never stop. Whether it's, you know, good and the bad, it's hand in hand. But you know, Not Today kind of helps you weave out
It's
what's
a solid.
important.
It's a
You know
solid
what I
reminder
mean?
today,
Right,
tonight,
right,
tomorrow, in a
right,
month, in
right.
a year, and
Of
I
course,
think that's important.
yeah.
Um,
Always a message that we need in that sense of kind of like just reminding ourselves, like, you know, some people say getting offended is a choice. That was my choice not to be offended. You know what I mean? It's kind of like taking back your power, taking back
yeah. Claiming
my,
that again.
you know what I mean? Being responsible for my reactions in that sense.
I love
That's
that.
really what
It,
it's about.
I think there's this, there's layers of messages within that too. Is to take a moment before you do something. Not today. Hold on,
Right,
and then
right,
proceed.
right,
However, you can be
right,
clear after
right,
that. Right?
right.
Is that energy like that kind of foundational balancing, like finding your center? Is that important to you in your life and your music and all of the things that you do?
Yeah, definitely. You know, so I have ADHD, so I'm always doing 20 different. I'm always, you know what I mean?
I
Like
do.
I'm here and
I got four
you know
tabs
what I
open on
mean?
my thing right now, so
Right.
I hear you.
So I think so what I like to do is have my music also reflect kind of that because for example, like in my EP that came out in 2019, that it's cohesive because it what I do is pull from different influences that influences my music. So on that sense, it also what I like to do is also pay homage to that where I'm there. So you know what I mean. Since you've been gone is different than you don't even love me. That's different than hot step. And in kind of the madness of that, you know it reflects who I am, my thoughts, how things are. You know, when people ask me like, "Oh, what's your favorite song?" I don't know how to fuck answer that because it's like it's a mood. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
come in the, you know, I leave the car one way, I drive where I'm going. All of those
Yeah.
things. I don't really have like a favorite song, but yes, I like that to reflect in my music.
2019 is, depending on the month, about 6 years ago, if my math is correct. Now I am stoned. Big shout out to Maven Genetics. Now, in terms of 2025, we only have a couple months left of this year. There's not very much left. It's cooked. It's fully baked now. Next, the end of this year, next year, are there other projects coming? Is there other songs, singles, music
Yeah, man.
videos? Do you have a tour lined
Yeah.
up or anything along those lines?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We're
Dope.
lining that up now. Next, I'm heading to London actually after this,
Cool.
and got a few things. The next song is being packaged now to release, and we're heading out with that, and then working on some stuff with some weed brands, and you know, just kind of like
Yeah.
expanding. You know, kind of expanding
There's a lot.
slowly
There's
but
a lot that
surely.
you guys are able to do, and I say you guys because my understanding of the world of Marley is there's music, and then there's business and licensing and other entrepreneurial business opportunities. Sounds like you are pretty multifaceted in doing some of those things too. What is your experience like with cannabis? How intimate are you? Is it are you smoking this kind of weed all the time, or are you smoking when you travel? What is your relationship with cannabis?
I mean, I would say like any other smoker, you know what I mean? I like a good draw, you know. My favorite strain is Skywalker.
OG
It's
guy.
yeah.
Okay, him.
But Skywalker is
Okay.
yeah. But Skywalker is my it's been around for a while obviously, but
Yeah.
it's my favorite. It's always been my favorite. So yeah.
What about time in cannabis that you've spent and smoked in Jamaica? What is cannabis like in compared to like there versus here or some of the
Oh
other
my
states? Do you
gosh.
have
So
like can you just bring some clarity to your opinion on the state of cannabis internationally?
oh my God. Yeah, so I'm a 90s baby. So I've seen it in Jamaica come from kind of being something where it's like taboo
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
thing, like, and then now it being in dispensaries all over the place.
Wow.
So you know what I mean, and I'm fortunate to be of that generation where the generations before me
Mm-hmm.
was able to pass down their even like the experiences that they have being persecuted for weed in Jamaica, and just kind of like the Rastas being targeted, and you know what I mean. So where it is today, it's nice to see. You know
Yeah.
what I mean. It's really a blessing in terms of people being able to smoke them weed ganja and
Yeah.
and and
It doesn't it
go
was
about them things.
portrayed to be so much more dangerous
Of course.
and to have had these impact on people that would make them go crazy or become more dangerous or aggressive or something, and so much of that was media propagating it up, right? And so for you, um, you know how important is cannabis in your music creation process? Is it a part of it at all, or is it something that you use maybe as a tool to help you get to that place or to be more creative or to get in that right mood? Do you
Yeah.
use cannabis in music?
Yeah, of course. In the studio, actually, even before I work out, like I need to, and it kind of, it gets me. Like for example, if I'm working out, my head is in that creative
Yeah,
space,
same.
and I can just go. So it's in a good amount of my day.
That's
Um,
cool.
um,
Mine too.
right. It kind of helps me to just, it's one of those things. But I will also say you mentioned something about with the stigma to weed, and it's something that I tell younger people now that I see smoking, and it makes me feel so old, like so old saying this to them, but like, weed is not for everybody, and I
Yeah,
think that because so many people do it, there's this, not maybe like misconception, but it's not for everybody. You know what I
correct.
mean? I know people that smoke, and some people don't like it, and some people, and that's okay. You know what I mean? And I think that it's important to accept if it is not your thing,
Yes,
and
absolutely. To
that's
make a clear
something
decision
to
for
make it
oneself.
clear. Right,
Yeah. And
right,
to give people the space and the grace to do that for
right,
themselves, to
right,
understand that it doesn't have to be for everyone. I,
right.
I, I I would say that I am, not to say pushy, but I can be pushy at times because it's very clear people need certain things. And they have this perspective on cannabis that is typically the barrier for why they don't use
Right,
a lotion,
right,
which
right,
doesn't get
right,
you
right,
high, for
right,
example,
right.
right? But it can do miraculous things. And so but people have the right all over the world to be able to do what's right and best for them, their families. And cannabis oftentimes can impact the way other people look at them as a
Of course,
parent,
of course,
or what they're treating their kids with, or
of course.
whatever it could be. And so make the choice that's right for you and your family. And I appreciate you sharing that. I think
Yeah,
that's
man.
great. That's great
Yeah,
sound
man.
advice.
Yeah, man.
In terms of this new album, kind of circling back, we'll come back to some of the cannabis stuff here in a second. I got some fun questions for you since you're a smoker. In terms of your music and the project that you're coming up, is it another EP? Is it an album? Do we have a format
So,
for it yet?
so, so when I released my EP in 2019, that was around leading up to the December time. I was gonna go on the road with my dad, and then so the December came out and everything was out, and then January we had a show in LA, and by the time we got back, the announcement of COVID and this and this and
Oh
that and
yeah,
that, nobody
that
knew what it
exact
was, and
time.
things started to like close, and things of that nature, and then by the March we were shut down.
Wow.
So with that
Wow.
happening, then obviously the world kind of took a turn to things becoming more and more digital, and kind of we lived in like that digital box for
Yeah, it
that
was a
time
huge,
period.
massive
It was
shift,
a
right?
shift.
Across the whole world.
Right. So with that, then I'm kind of like, I'm not very tech savvy, so that shift kind of didn't help me. It kind of just like made me feel like, oh shit, like where,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
More
where
more
do
work and
I,
it's different things.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Like before you could have been an artist and maybe like, do a few things. Now you have to be an artist. You have to be an editor. You have to be
TikTok,
TikTok. You,
Instagram,
you know what I mean? It
fucking
was so, you know what I
distro.
mean?
Yeah.
And finding your artistry was so, at that time I put out one project. So it was kind of like at the forefront of like, okay, like I'm figuring me out as an artist, much less packaging that and putting that on TikTok and them thing and just all of those things. So anyways, So then that led me now to just, kind of when things eased up a bit, I was recording more and getting in that space and thing, and then after that, like, life happens, so then things start opening up, whatever. So now with this, I had enough for an album, and I was like, you know what, let me give back, let me build up back a fan base and get things back, because basically, it's like starting back at ground,
Of course.
back, right. So then I broke everything down, and I'm just gonna do singles, but I'm working on a EP
The
that might be
overall.
that might
Yeah.
become an album, but right now,
Package it up down later the road.
you know what
Later
I
down the
mean,
road.
right? But now
Yeah.
it's just creating,
We want the music.
yeah, and it's there,
We want it.
it's coming, yeah,
Yeah,
man,
we
it's
love
coming.
that. When is it coming? When can people start seeing some of the content or hearing some of it? When are we able to start getting some of
So,
that?
Not Today was released what at the ending of June. So the next song will be about a month from now, like month and a
Nice.
half,
There
less
you go. You
than.
guys are gonna have to stay
Yeah,
tuned.
man.
This is
Yeah,
gonna be
man.
cool,
Yeah.
man.
Check it
You
out.
guys can look on Spotify. I checked it
Yeah.
out earlier. I listened to some of the songs. We've been listening to it since I got here for the last 2 hours or so. But Hymn Marley, Hymn,
Yes.
Marley, Marley. Super cool. You guys listen to his music, then go listen to the rest of the family's music, make it a family affair.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
start with
yeah, yeah,
him's
yeah,
music
yeah, yeah.
first,
Yeah.
and then get into the other classics. I think it's great.
Yeah, man.
This next segment, I wanted to, I want to shout out our location here.
Yeah, man.
We are hosted here graciously by Catalyst Hawthorne Dispensary and Lounge.
Yeah.
Big shout out to them for allowing us to be in this space, smoking cannabis, talking music, talking about the culture.
Yeah, man.
This is historical, man. This is the next generation of Marley right here, going down your own lane, going back into that style of music as well. That R&B house and the Not Today, I loved it, man. What are we gonna hear sonically on the rest of the project?
It's
Different
funny. You
beats?
know what? It's funny because, like, yes, it won't be.
It's not all gonna be like that.
No, no, no,
Okay.
no, 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 no.
I was getting kind of
No, no,
excited.
no,
I
no, no,
loved
no, no,
I
no,
loved
no,
it
no,
that
no, no.
much. I could eat up 8 songs, kind of similar to that.
You have some that are in that family, but Not Today. It's its own staple in
Yeah,
that sense.
absolutely.
No, but what is next has a different feel. Has a very different. The colors are different. It's
Let's
not
go.
so EDM, but it's in that. It's in the umbrella of
Yeah.
relevance in terms of sonically.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, see, even that gets the juices flowing right there. Thinking about that. When you were in the studio, did you smoke primarily Skywalker OG, or did you try other strains, other products? You ever eat edibles and make a song? You ever try anything like
I'm not
that?
really big. I'm more of a flower person.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
tried
yeah.
the cartridges back when the edible. The edibles are cool and thing, but I'm just more of the process
You
of.
smoke. You're a
Yeah,
smoker.
yeah,
And I saw you
yeah,
rolled
yeah,
that joint
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
quick, no
yeah, yeah,
problem.
yeah,
You're a
yeah.
joint guy, you smoke blunts. What do you normally smoke?
Mainly blunts. I mean, it depends. Joints too, but mainly like blunts.
I love it.
Um,
An OG, Skywalker.
OGs. I
But is
like
that
OG.
that's what you get here? Because when you're in LA, or do you get that everywhere?
If Skywalker is available,
That's
I'll
what
get
you're
it.
getting.
Yeah,
I love that.
that's what I'm
I
getting.
know some people that don't
That's
get
what I'm getting.
Skywalker every time. Big
Yeah,
shout out
if
to our film crew
yeah.
team over here. If Skywalker's available, my guy director Hoff will pick up Skywalker.
Yo,
if he can.
it's. I feel like I can never go wrong. Don't it? Don't it?
You
See?
can't.
Watch
You
it.
kind of
Watch
can't go
it.
wrong, right?
Watch it. Big smile. Man, I look for Skywalker too. You know what I mean?
Now,
So yeah,
now, as I was saying, big shout out to Catalyst for hosting us
Yeah.
and allowing us to be here. Make sure you guys search them online. Catalyst has 33 locations across the state, you guys. So make sure y'all tap in. Tell them Respect My Region sent you, and thank them for hosting us here. Now, I want to get a little bit into the legacy and talk a little bit again about inspiration, right? Your pops, huge artists in the world. It can't all be accredited to just the how famous your grandfather is, right? At some point, fans have to like the music. At some point, they have to like the energy and the message and enjoy the performances. And you were saying you were going to go on tour and started to do, kind of get that going, and then COVID comes in, right? And so 6 years later, what was some of the advice that your pops gave you in terms of how to maybe look at the next couple years or deal with COVID, or how to build your music
from then, or you
from
mean
then from then and then versus just back then? What was some of the advice that you might have been given?
with he and I, it's not necessary. It's not so basically it's a thing where I was just presenting the music, presenting what I'm doing, and da 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 da. And like, fortunately, the direction was well enough that it was more just like, oh, turn the, I would do, the advice was more like what the tweaks on the, because
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that point we were all doing the best we could in terms of just, everybody's locked down and
Yeah.
everybody, mask and this and that and that. So that it wasn't really like
It was more on the it was
ton of
more on
things
the
you could
music
do.
side. Yeah,
Right. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
just more like, all right, you have the new records. I would turn this up. I would do this. I would do, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
in
yeah.
terms of the advice, it wasn't the time because we
Wasn't
weren't
the yeah,
anywhere
that
to.
wasn't the
Do you
era
know
to
what I
do that.
mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
I
wasn't,
got you. That makes sense. That makes
right.
sense. But hey, that advice of still on the music stuff, that still
Yeah.
goes
No, I
along.
mean,
That shit
you
goes
guys will. I mean,
that shit goes a long way on the
right,
on our fan side
right,
because when
right.
stuff doesn't sound right or is weird or whatever it is, that can make somebody doubt the rest of the project,
Right, right,
right?
right, right, right. So
Um,
it was one of those things.
in terms of you creating this lane that isn't so much the same as this other style of music,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's like different types of reggae. Then you've got
Mm-hmm.
this like electronic meets reggae meets dub. I think that's a huge genre out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you were going to describe your music and how you want people to see it, is there a description that can work? That's some combination of what we call music.
It's interesting because on one end, some people would say pop. On other ends, some people would say world music.
Okay.
I don't really classify because okay, I was on a radio interview the other day and I was saying to the guy, the person kind of pointed that out, and he and I were talking about it, and I basically was saying to him that, in my family, like when you listen to Bob, there's a lot of influences of like jazz, blues, rock. You hear it in the guitars. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean? You hear those
absolutely.
influences, and then just kind of saying to him that that evolved into, or that got passed down to like my dad and my uncles and the singers in my family, because when you hear like my uncle Damien or my dad, it's hip hop.
Yeah,
The
100%.
influences, you know what I mean? And then you
Yeah.
hear with my dad, like for example, his last album, also you'll hear jazz, blues, you'll hear, you know what I mean? So with me, I can't put my music in one
One
category
box.
because, some people said, someone the other said, they said that Not Today kind of reminds them of Show Me Love by Robin S. You know what I mean? Where you
Mm,
would say like you hear um R&B influences where like someone they'll be
yeah.
like, where? You know what I mean? And someone the other day said that they kind of heard an Afrobeat element in there, but to me, you know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, cool.
We all want to
So
hear what we like, I think, in things that we enjoy to some
right,
extent.
and on that note, even with my writing or the production, I try to leave things as ambiguous because I don't want people to feel like they're reading like my journal. I want you to feel like you're reading our own. You know what I mean? Like
That makes sense.
Not Today for someone that is going through a breakup. That's what it's ambiguous enough to feel the breakup. Where to me, it has nothing to do with a romantic relationship. You know what I mean? It had to
Yeah.
do with more of a situation. Um, and that's kind of what why it would be hard for me to classify it, because some say pop, some would say alternative pop, some would say like world you know what I mean, but I don't know, I don't
I don't
know,
know. Well,
I don't know,
it'll be
I don't know.
exciting to hear the rest of the music in this
Yeah,
diversity
yeah,
of
yeah.
sounds, of probably writing
Mm-hmm.
styles and tempos and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to run through a fun little section here. This one we'll do a big shout out again to Catalyst and a big shout out to here
Yeah,
the
man.
black market beverages that we have in front of us, which I'm going to send you home with one of those bottles.
All right, bless.
Drinkblackmarket.com, folks. First question: what is the studio essential you won't record without? You got a snack, you got a drink, you got to have a joint. What do you have to
Weed,
have
weed.
before to get in there? All right, that's a simple question. You need some weed,
I need some weed, water.
water,
You
yeah, fire.
know.
Okay, now
Water.
one of my favorite questions that I always watch on other people's shows is, and this is one that's frequently asked, but who are some like what are your bucket list collabs? Who are some people you'd love to make music with? We're both '90s kids. I'm 34. Who are some collabs that you would love to maybe do down the road potentially?
All right, collabs outside of my family. One with Rihanna would be cool. One with Shadsia would be cool too. She's an artist I like. One with Jay Z would be
Mm,
really would be cool.
There we go. That's enough.
Drake, that would be cool.
Epic,
Damn, who
right?
else? I don't know. There's a lot. There is a lot, but
That's a super list. That's a super
I'd
list
start
right
around there
there.
for right now.
Okay, so
That's
we've
right.
already gone over the next one. We know you love the Skywalker OG, so we'll skip the strain question.
Yeah,
That's an
yeah,
easy
yeah.
one. Do you did you ever get into the blunts in the backwoods, the grabbas? Did you ever get in anything like that, or has it always been joints?
Dutch and papers.
Okay,
That's it. That's it. But the
okay,
backwoods sometimes kind of, I don't know. I know people like it, but sometimes it makes me feel like nauseous
yes, same.
or like I'm
I
like
stay away.
swaying a bit. So I kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
I
that's
know my
fair.
team like
That's
that.
fair. That's
But
fair.
usually like paper or like a rap.
If you wouldn't mind sharing that first time you really actually ever smoked weed, I think that'd be super interesting. Like, as part of the Marley family, like, what was the first time you smoked weed like?
Oh God. Look at watch it, watch it, watch it. The first time I smoked weed, I was, the first time I smoked weed, I was pretty young. You know,
Okay.
I was pretty young. But I didn't like inhale it, so
Yeah.
I didn't get higher then.
Okay.
And so then I kind of was like, all right, I don't really know what. Then I kind of moved. Then around a little later, I moved to America, and like like in middle, like kids were like smoking, but in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't know what the hype is. Like
Yeah.
them don't feel nothing. Like this is kind from my experience earlier, and then in later on, I smoked and I was like, okay, cool, and then it kind of like mellowed out a bit of my ADHD and kind of like helped me
Mm.
to just kind of like slow down in that sense,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then from then on, you know, we've
The people that produce the music, are you making the music yourself, or who are you working with production wise? If you wouldn't mind shouting
Yeah,
out some
yeah,
of those
yeah,
people.
yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. On this project, it's a good group of people. One of them, I met Renzo. I met Renzo over at World Famous Studios in Miami first during COVID. I actually saw a video of him playing guitar, and I was like, "Yo, I would love to have you on one of my tracks." So
Sick.
I went to the studio, and he introduced me to his like network,
Mm-hmm.
London, Refro, Shane, um, um, yeah, it's a whole. So all of us started putting together events, and we started putting together just tracks. We were just hammering out tracks, and then one of the tracks I actually worked with a girl producer on for the first time. Shout out to Ida Rose. And that I can't wait for that. I can't wait for all of them to come up. But the,
Yeah.
the, the track that we did together, I look forward to that one. And yeah, we kind of just all of that was around that time, and now it's like ready. Now it's go time. So
It's go time, guys, man.
yeah, it's
I'm here
go
with Hymn
time.
Marley. We're at the Catalyst Dispensary in Hawthorne, Los Angeles, California, man. This is the Consumption Lounge. We're here consuming cannabis. We just had a great convo. I appreciate your time.
Yeah,
It's
man.
it's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Every time.
One thing you want to leave people with, as we get out of the episode, Him. What do you want to leave them with today?
Yeah, you can follow me and check out the music. Check out my socials. Everything is at Hymn Marley. Oh, not .com. Yeah, at Hymn Marley. Everything is at Hymn Marley. Socials. Check out Spotify, Apple Music,
Yep.
iTunes.
Not
Everything.
today's already
Not
out.
today. Yeah. Not today. Bless. Love.
Go
Yeah.
listen to it, folks. Make sure you tap in. Stay tuned
Yeah,
for the
man.
album. Follow, subscribe. Big shout out to our sponsors, drinkblackmarket.com, Maven Genetics, and Catalyst. I'm J Ping. Respect my region. This is Him Marley, and we'll catch you guys next time. Love you guys. Peace.